Right now, the Senate is set to vote on the confirmation of President Trump's controversial Supreme Court nominee this afternoon, where members of Congress stand in the 11th hour. Plus, a new business years in the making opens today in the Madison area, how many jobs it's bringing with it. And the Badgers are back under the lights, taking the field against the Cornhuskers tonight. We have your 3 things to watch for during the game.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is October 6th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is in for Chris this morning. Welcome to the weekend. Welcome to the morning.
Yeah, it's a different side of the day, that's for sure. Not used to being up this early, at least over the last couple of months. But if we are up this early, we've noticed the rain, especially over the last couple of hours, really on the dwindling trend. Doppler track showing a few light showers across portions of southwestern Wisconsin, but really nothing that we're looking at as anything threatening. However, flash flood warning is still in effect until 9 o'clock this morning for spots just to the south of southern Wisconsin. Our friends in northern Illinois have really picked up a lot of rain over the past 24 hours, about 2 to 4 inches with some locally heavier amounts possible. Downtown Madison, the Edgewater Skycam, we're looking at those clouds, maybe a few breaks in the clouds today. Hopefully we can get lucky. The visibility has improved, though, across much of the area. A little bit foggy still in Janesville. Temperatures are in the 50s across the area, and that's where they'll stay for much of the day. Wind speeds out of the north and west at about 5 to 10 miles per hour this morning. So your day planner showing the threat or possibility of maybe a few raindrops this morning, but then as we head into the afternoon, I think clouds become more likely, temperatures staying in the 50s. Here's your first alert traffic update. Taking a live look at Fish Hatchery Road and the Beltline. No major problems showing up there, and no major problems on any of the major roads in and around Madison. Traffic is generally heading out at the posted speeds. Keep in mind, maybe a few areas where some localized ponding of that water has occurred. Some localized flooding is still possible this morning. And Sauk City to Middleton on Highway 12, 17 minutes looking normal with an average speed of around 60 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic. We will talk about plenty more rain chances over the next couple of days in your first alert forecast.
I thought this was Madison, not Seattle.
You know, just grab a Starbucks coffee and head to an internet cafe. Those still exist, right? I think I definitely dated myself. Oh, well.
All right, Dave, thank you. Well, we start the news this morning in Washington, where Judge Brett Kavanaugh is expected to be confirmed to the Supreme Court by the Senate this afternoon. In a 43-minute speech Friday, Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine said she plans to vote yes for Kavanaugh, ending months of speculation. Shortly after, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia also gave Kavanaugh his support, the only Democrat to do so. Republican Lisa Murkowski of Alaska broke from her party, explaining her no vote on the floor. Even with Kavanaugh's confirmation nearly certain, diehard senators argued through the night to a mostly empty Senate chamber.
Is he fit to be a jurist in the place where we have said justice in our country occurs?
We cannot set a standard of guilty until proven innocent, because then anybody can make any charge at any time.
If confirmed, Kavanaugh could be seated on the high court in the coming week. Attorneys for Dr. Christine Blasey Ford released a statement saying their client would have provided corroborating evidence had the FBI interviewed her. Developing overnight, Madison police are looking for a stolen car and the man who took it. It happened just before 3 o'clock this morning at Sherman Terrace on the east side. Police say 2 people were walking to their car when a man holding a handgun approached them. The man demanded money and their keys. He then drove off with the car, which is a gray 2011 Hyundai Tucson with Illinois plates. No one was injured. If you have any information, call Madison Police. Also new overnight, police are investigating a case of shots fired. They say it happened just after 10:30 in the 2700 block of East Washington. Police found bullet holes in the McDonald's restaurant there. Police don't believe anyone was injured, but witnesses say the shooting most likely happened across the street at or near the Capitol Petromart. 2 cars were seen leaving the area, one described as a white sedan and the other as an older black or gold car. This morning, police are also looking for another shooter. This after an innocent bystander was almost caught in gunfire. Police tell us they received several reports of shots fired on the west side around 11:30 Thursday night. One witness at the intersection of South Whitney Way and Schrader Road saw an arm stick out of an SUV and a gun begin firing. Another witness saw two men in an SUV and heard 6 to 8 gunshots. One of those shots apparently hit a 23-year-old woman's car while she was stopped at a red light. The former DeForest police chief has a new job this morning with another local police force. Dan Furseth started as a part-time officer on Monday at the town of Madison Police Department. Furseth was first placed on administrative leave by DeForest back in May after an 11-year-old video surfaced of him making racist comments about a group of black men. He resigned in August from his position there, but right now the town of Madison chief, Scott Gregory, is defending his decision to hire Furseth, who has worked in law enforcement for 30 years.
I think he has a lot of that experience he can bring to the town of Madison, and I want to be able to give him that opportunity. If he stubs his toe and falls, I will sit right here and tell you, okay, I made a mistake, and we'll move on from that.
Chief Gregory is also the president of the Dane County Chiefs of Police Association, which wrote a letter in August about Furseth saying, quote, "We condemn racism in any form," end quote. Madison Mayor Paul Soglin says he is disappointed that Furseth was hired. The town of Madison will be annexed in the city of Madison in 2022. Soglin says making new hires now will just make that transition more difficult. It is 6 minutes past the hour, and the Brewers are one win away from the National League Championship Series after a victory in Game 2 over Colorado at Miller Park yesterday. That's 10 straight wins for the Brewers. Jeremy Jeffress, after a rocky Game 1, bounced back with 2 scoreless innings, teaming with the Brewer bullpen and starter Jalees Chassin to shut out the Rockies. 4-0 was the final. Eric Kratz drove in 2. Mike Moustakas again with a clutch RBI single. Hernan Perez, 2 doubles and an RBI. Game 3 is tomorrow afternoon at Denver at 3:37 Central Time. New this morning, after a week off, the Badgers are back in town facing Nebraska tonight. News 3 Sports Director Jay Wilson has the 3 things to watch for during the game.
When the Badgers play Nebraska at Camp Randall tonight at 6:30, here are 3 things to watch. Even though they're coming off a bye week, the Badgers hope to ride the momentum of their big road win at Iowa 2 weeks ago. Quarterback Alex Hornibrook coming off a great game. In fact, Hornibrook is statistically the most efficient passer in the Big Ten right now, and he hopes it stays that way tonight. The Badgers' defense is having another great season. Wisconsin is 10th in the nation in points per game, allowing just 14.5 per contest. TJ Edwards and the rest of the Badgers' defensive unit hopes to charge up the home crowd with more big stops against the Cornhuskers. And even though Nebraska is off to an 0-4 start under new head coach Scott Frost, the Badgers won't take anything for granted tonight. The memory of that disappointing loss to BYU at Camp Randall 3 weeks ago is still fresh in their minds. Another misstep would be more harmful because Nebraska is a Big Ten West opponent. And those are 3 things to watch with Wisconsin and Nebraska tonight.
Stay with News 3 for complete coverage of the game. We'll have a recap of the game tonight on our news at 10. The Metro's newest Fleet Farm store will have its official grand opening today in DeForest. The company's CEO says the store will add between 150 to 200 jobs to the area, with up to 10 new positions at the corporate office. People living around Dane County have been writing him letters for a decade asking for a store to be built here in the area. The store held its soft opening Wednesday. Alzheimer's disease affects more than 5 million Americans, and this weekend you have a chance to walk to end Alzheimer's. News 3 is a proud sponsor of the event, starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow at Memorial High School. You still have time to sign up. This year's walkers have already raised more than $150,000 for Alzheimer's research. The world's #1 best-selling author, James Patterson, will be over at the Overture Center for the Wisconsin Book Festival happening tomorrow. He's known for his thriller and mystery novels. This weekend, though, he's focused on a whole different genre. Max Einstein, The Genius Experiment is a children's adventure novel about a girl who solves some of the world's toughest problems using science. We'll have more on Patterson's visit to Madison ahead in our Weekend 608. Well, it is just about 8:10 on this Saturday morning, and if you've taken a peek outside, that pretty much sums up the forecast, I'm sad to say. Here's a live look over the Capitol this Saturday morning. We're in for kind of a dreary and gloomy weekend. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is next with more rain chances in his first alert forecast. And there are several shows and movies for you to enjoy on this cloudy weekend. Will is next with his 3 things to watch on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning. I hope you're having a great Saturday so far. I put the umbrella away compared to earlier this morning, so the rain generally has come to an end across southern Wisconsin, but a few light showers still do remain in select spots, though. Over the last 24 hours, most of us picked up about a half an inch to an inch of rain across far southern Wisconsin, but right near the state line, actually, there was a stretch of about 2 to 4 inches of rain, at least estimated, over the last 24 hours, and there could be some heavier amounts possible. That flash flood warning in effect for northern Illinois and northwestern Illinois goes until 9 this morning. As far as Madison goes, October precipitation, we are already ahead of schedule for the entire month in just the first 6 days of October, folks. Already close to 3 inches of rain. Average for October is about 2.5. That flash flood watch canceled for all of southern Wisconsin. However, not the case for portions of Iowa and Illinois. That will still go for the next few hours at least. But for us, we're pretty much out of the woods, although don't put that umbrella away just yet because still some light showers moving through select spots. As we zoom out, we can see not much more in the way of rain is going to come this way because that big bulk of showers there is going to continue moving easterly. So we're really not going to cash in on much more in the way of rain today, which is good news, but it still will remain kind of gloomy with peaks of sun hard hard to come by. Downtown Madison, we're looking at that dreary and gloomy, damp sky on the Edgewater Skycam. The almanac for today, forecast high of 58 degrees. Temperatures really staying steady in the 50s, still about 5 degrees below normal. Right now at 53 in Madison, 54 in Lone Rock, and 57 in Janesville. And we're talking about rain over the next couple of days, but we actually could be talking about snow because the earliest measurable snow, that snow more than a trace, actually happened on this date in 1964. I think it will at least be about 3 weeks before we start seriously discussing snow in southern Wisconsin, although northern Wisconsin did pick up a little bit of snow earlier on, so it is possible. Don't count it out, folks. Don't count Mother Nature out ever. Future track showing that rain continuing to be possible throughout the day, but really not looking all that likely. You may need the umbrella at times today, really not looking at anything heavy or even moderate. However, as we head into Sunday and then early Monday, some showers, maybe even a thunderstorm or two are possible, and those shower and thunderstorm chances do last into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Temperatures in the 70s Tuesday and Wednesday before we clear out and cool down. We're in the upper 50s Thursday, mid-50s Friday with that sunshine returning. So the sun will come out, just not exactly over the next 5 days or so. We'll be looking at a lot of clouds and have to keep that umbrella ready to go.
I guess there's something to look forward to. If it's just a little bit of sunshine, we'll have to look forward to
Even with temperatures in the 50s, I'll take that over this really damp and raw weather. Not a fan.
Me neither. All right, Dave, thank you. A new trailer is out for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the next incarnation of the superhero. This animated version introduces fans to Brooklyn teenager Miles Morales, who, as it turns out, is one of many Spider-Man characters roaming the streets of New York. There are at least 6 spider heroes in the new film, including Penny Parker, Spider-Noir, and even Spider-Ham. Other familiar voices include Lily Tomlin, Haley Steinfeld, and Nicolas Cage. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse swings into theaters December 14th. And one of the greatest superhero movies of all time will fly into theaters to celebrate its 40th anniversary. The 1978 classic Superman the movie, starring the late Christopher Reeve as the Man of Steel, returns to 500 theaters Thanksgiving weekend. The special screenings also coincide with the 80th anniversary of the superhero's creation. As a special bonus, right before the iconic opening credits roll, the 10-minute animated short Mechanical Monsters will play. That's the second ever Superman cartoon and is considered among the greatest adventure cartoons ever produced. Well, if you don't want to wait a month or two to watch something good, you don't have to. Our Will Loper has your 3 things to watch this weekend.
I wouldn't believe the story if someone else were telling it, but it's true, every word of it.
New on home video this week is 3 identical strangers.
You guys have been on the front page of every newspaper in the world.
True. They were more like clones than they were like brothers.
It was a miracle.
There was nothing that could keep us apart.
That's when things kind of got funky.
The documentary follows identical triplets who are separated at birth, and the reunion brings a number of twists, surprises, and revelations.
They separated these boys at birth.
The parents had never been told that there were 2 other children.
What was the purpose?
Why? How could you not tell us?
3 Identical Strangers is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Who would be evil enough to come up with something like this?
Having a baby is an immoral act. Overpopulation, climate change, rise of neo-fascism.
Did you take your Valium?
Yes? Why?
Newly streaming on Netflix is the film Private Life.
They're trying a by any means necessary approach.
I thought they were done with all that and they were trying to adopt.
They're still doing that.
They're like fertility junkies.
Paul Giamatti and Catherine Hahn star as a couple facing a multitude of difficulties as they try to have a child.
We are doing everything we can, short of kidnapping, to start a family.
I don't think I even want to have a kid anymore.
Private Life is available to stream on Netflix now.
We need to take some responsibility for the situation.
A lot of women have babies at 41. I thought I could too.
Finally, prepare yourself for the Lady Gaga version this weekend of A Star is Born. by checking out its most acclaimed predecessor, starring Judy Garland.
Do you always sing like that?
Like what?
The way you sang just now.
Why?
I never heard anybody sing just the way you do.
James Mason plays an alcoholic film star finding an aspiring artist and thrusts her into stardom as the two fall in love.
Oh, there it is, Esther. You got it. Just the way you dreamed it.
No, I've got more. Much more.
A Star is Born, the 1954 version, is available to rent or buy now.
Hey. I just want to take another look at you.
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch. And this is Will Loper for News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
From movies to music this morning, for the first time in nearly 3 years, Taylor Swift will perform at an awards show. The singer will open the 2018 American Music Awards on Tuesday. This is her first awards show performance in nearly 3 years. Swift will sing I Did Something Bad. That's one of her latest singles from her Reputation album. The 28-year-old is also up for several awards, including this year's Artist of the Year category, alongside Drake, Ed Sheeran, Imagine Dragons, and Post Malone. The AMAs start at 7 o'clock Tuesday night. 21 minutes past the hour, pumpkin farms, corn mazes, and of course, apple picking. The trees are changing colors out there, and the colder weather signals fall is finally here. But is all of the rain hurting area farmers hoping for good business this time of year? We head to a local apple orchard to investigate when News 3 This Morning Saturday returns.
Just about 8:25 on this Saturday morning. Good morning. We are seeing the rain really dwindle down across southern Wisconsin. Some very light showers showing up, but really just some nuisance sprinkles over the course of this morning. So you may want to have that umbrella ready to go because a few raindrops are possible this afternoon and evening. But right now, temperatures are quite cool in the low 50s in Madison, mid 50s in Boscobel, still close to 60 though in Milwaukee. Now this morning temperatures are staying in the 50s, generally mostly cloudy with the showers continuing to wrap up. A few raindrops are possible this afternoon, but it really will remain mostly cloudy with temperatures staying in the 50s. And that is your first alert forecast.
All right, Dave, thank you. 8:25 is your time right now, and if you're looking for something to do this weekend, maybe check out a local apple orchard. All of the rain we've been seeing is affecting business during an already short apple picking season. Now that we're well into the season, many orchards are hopeful for a better turnout of people coming out to pick. This is the time of year appleberry farm owners David and Sandra Wilds live for. It's already an extremely short season, and with so many rainy days, they haven't seen a lot of visitors yet, and the apple picking days are numbered.
We only have 8 weeks for the main season. People don't come after Halloween typically, so it's the weekend weather that's the critical part. Obviously we need to pick every day, but that's the big impact.
Last Saturday they saw a decent amount of people with a drier day, but Sunday was super quiet and dreary with all of the rain. Obviously this week has been much of the same. They tell me they depend on the business over the weekends in order to have a successful year. Well, still ahead in this broadcast, what to expect in the final day of this year's World Dairy Expo. Plus, we'll introduce you to this month's top-notch teacher, getting kids out of the classroom to the show to help them real-life hard work that goes into supporting one of the Wisconsin's most important industries. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning, Saturday. This month's top-notch teacher is showing his students what's so special about Wisconsin farmland. We'll share his story just ahead.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is 8:30 on this October 6th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is tracking more rain, but first, here's what's making news this morning. We begin in Washington, where Judge Brett Kavanaugh is expected to be confirmed to the Supreme Court by the Senate this afternoon. In a 43-minute speech Friday, Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine said she plans to vote yes for Kavanaugh, ending months of speculation. Shortly after, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia also gave Kavanaugh his support, the only Democrat to do so. Republican Lisa Murkowski of Alaska broke from her party, explaining her no vote on the floor. If confirmed, Kavanaugh could be seated on the high court within the coming week. The Metro's newest Fleet Farm store will have its official grand opening today in DeForest. The company's CEO says the store will add between 150 to 200 jobs to the area, with up to 10 new positions at the corporate office. People living around Dane County have been writing him letters for a decade asking for a store to be built here in the area. The store held its soft opening Wednesday. Alzheimer's disease affects more than 5 million Americans, and this weekend you have a chance to walk to end Alzheimer's. News 3 is a proud sponsor of the event. It starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow at Memorial High School, and you can still sign up right now. This year's walkers have already raised more than $150,000 for Alzheimer's research. Coming up on 8:32 this Saturday morning, meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a little bit of a gloomy weekend. You're not everyone's favorite person this morning, Dave.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't just use my sunny disposition to get rid of these clouds and rain because they're going to stick around for much of this weekend. The good news is not too much rain left this morning, just a few light showers moving into Lafayette County. Live look in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. You can see actually the base of those clouds, which is pretty cool. The not cool part is the rest of the clouds are filling up the picture and they really won't be going anywhere. However, it still could be worse outside. 53 right now in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam northeast wind at 3 miles per hour. Some other temps 50 in the Dells, Camp Douglas and Watoma. It's kind of a 50-degree area right there. 52 in Mineral Point and 54 in Boscobel. Temperatures and winds over the next 12 hours. Really not looking at a whole lot of variation. 57 1 hour, 58 the next. Staying in the upper 50s until we get to later, where we'll fall through the 50s and end up in the mid-40s to start Sunday. Here's your first alert traffic update. No major accidents or incidents to report across the major roads in Dane County and close to Madison. So here are your drive times this morning. Right now on the Beltline, Verona Road to University Ave. Westbound, that's 6 minutes with an average speed right around 65 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. It has been a wet week for farmers in southern Wisconsin, but that doesn't mean the hard work ends. Troy Talford is one of the educators encouraging students to get outside and into the field despite ongoing challenges Wisconsin farmers may be facing. He's this month's top-notch teacher, as Charlotte DeLeste reports.
Anybody want to take a turn taking the rabbit out?
It's a time-honored industry.
We have a bigger purpose here in the agriculture industry than we sometimes realize.
Troy Talford is the agriculture instructor and FFA advisor at Sauk Prairie High School, where he teaches both middle and high schoolers.
Put one hand underneath their belly, you'll lift them up.
Today's class is more like an Ag 101 for middle school students, teaching them how to handle companion animals and eventually livestock.
Our classes used to be training the kids to go home and take over the family farm or work in partnership with the family on the farm. And now we don't have as many students that are on a farm.
In fact, less than 10% of his middle school students come from a farm. So Mr. Talford has many goals: expose them to plant and animal sciences, and ultimately open the door for students to discover potential future careers.
We need people. We need people to replace the farmers. We need people to replace the veterinarians. We need people to replace all these different agricultural jobs that are out there.
Mr. Talford didn't grow up on a farm, but worked on his grandparents' farms, ultimately choosing to pass on his knowledge and passion for the industry to others.
And I tell my kids, I don't care if you're going to go home and take over a farm. I don't care if you're going to go and work as a nutritionist for a feed company. If all you take out of this class is that I have an appreciation for going home and planting my own garden or taking care of my small animals that I own at home, that's something to me. There's a need, and if I can use my enthusiasm and my energy in a classroom to make that happen,
then we may very well be looking at a future generation here that is going to feed the world and be stewards of the land.
but it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it also takes a village to run an ag program.
For top-notch teacher in Prairie du Sac, I'm Charlotte DeLeste, WISC-TV News 3.
If you know of a top-notch teacher who deserves to be recognized, you can nominate them at channel3000.com. Just click on the Education tab. Coming up on 8:36 this morning, singled out, humbled, and a bit embarrassed. A Green Beret earned one of the nation's highest honors for his service overseas this week. But if you ask him, he says he doesn't deserve it. What this 39-year-old did to earn the country's top military award and the new enemy he's now battling. That's coming up on News 3 this morning, Saturday. Welcome back at 8:39 this morning. It's an award 10 years in the making. This week, President Trump awarded the Medal of Honor to a Secret Service agent for his heroics a decade ago as a Green Beret medic in Afghanistan. Here's David Martin now on how he earned the nation's highest military award and the new enemy he's now battling.
The Medal of Honor will humble anyone, but no one more than Staff Sergeant Ronald Schur.
To be singled out at all just doesn't make sense.
You seem almost embarrassed.
A little bit.
Like it or not, his actions during a 2008 battle in the mountains of Afghanistan are now front and center. Remarkably, parts of it were captured on video. Here's Schuer's team of Green Berets and Afghan commandos coming off their helicopter.
I just remember being rocky and cold, and then as soon as you look out, and it was just kind of straight up everywhere you looked.
Their objective was a village where leaders of one of Afghanistan's many terror groups were thought to be hiding. The enemy saw the Green Berets coming and opened up on them.
Felt like we were being shot at from every direction.
Schuer was the team's medic.
I heard the first calls for medic, and at that point, worked my way over to the first person who needed help.
Did you have to expose yourself to fire to get there?
Yes, I mean, I had to get there.
Did you get hit?
I know when I was shot in the helmet.
And were you okay?
Felt like somebody hit me in the helmet with a baseball bat.
While Apache helicopters rocketed the village,
Good missile. Good missile.
and jets dropped bombs within danger close range of the Green Berets, Schuer kept crawling across open ground to treat the wounded.
It just became a mission of just getting as many guys out of there as I could.
Medevacs braved the firestorm to evacuate the casualties, 4 critically wounded Americans and 2 dead Afghan commandos.
We got everybody. We got everybody out.
Schuer left the Army and joined the Secret Service. You might think he can breathe easy now that the ceremony is over and go back to guarding the president. Not so.
I understand you're fighting a different battle.
Unfortunately, yes.
What have the doctors told you?
I mean, I was diagnosed with lung cancer last year.
What's the prognosis?
Taking it one day at a time.
Having faced death before, Ronald Schuer knows exactly what he has to do.
We're just giving this fight everything we can, just like the last one.
David Martin, CBS News.
It is 8:42 this morning, and are you still looking for something to do this weekend? Well, we've got some ideas for you. From one of the best-selling authors of all time to a world-famous spider, there are several big names in town this weekend. We have your Weekend 608 coming up on News 3 This Morning Saturday. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. We're back right after this.
Good morning. I hope you're having a great Friday so far. A lot of that rain has come to an end across southern Wisconsin, but a few blips on Doppler track. That rain doesn't want to not be talked about just yet. So maybe have that umbrella with you throughout the day because a couple of stray showers can't be ruled out. Nothing that you're going to want to cancel plans over, just something to be aware of because the bulk of that rain activity continues to move slowly to the east and a couple of showers trying to branch out to the north, which is for us across southern Wisconsin, but I really don't think a lot of that is going to reach that intended destination. Now, on our Madison camera, on our WISC TV Skycam, I've only said it about 1,000 times. What's 1,001? We're looking at those clouds outside and currently at 53 degrees. That wind up to 7 miles per hour out of the north-northwest. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 50s, so a little bit chilly, a little bit raw outside. A lot of times right when it stopped raining, if you head outside, it may look like it's okay, but really the feel of the air is not that pleasant right now. Hopefully it gets a little bit better throughout the day because we have things to do, right, folks, including take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers at Camp Randall Stadium. The Badgers will be doing that later this evening, kickoff at 6:30. So kickoff temperature around 51 degrees. Can't rule out a quick shower or two, but really I think we're just going to be dealing with mostly cloudy skies and cool conditions. By the fifth quarter, temperatures dipping into the upper 40s. And these cooler temperatures are good news if you are an avid leaf watcher. The colors are changing just like the times are changing across much of Wisconsin. Actually, some of us are at our peak for northern Wisconsin. For southern Wisconsin, Rock County today just entering the 25 to 50% range as far as those leaf changing color index, whatever you want to call it. I would still call it patchy, the current foliage across southern Wisconsin. Still need about at least 1 to 2 more weeks to see that activity really ramp up. So your pinpoint city forecast this afternoon: Milton, Beloit, Evansville, temperatures in the upper 50s, lots of clouds sticking around in Mineral Point, Dodgeville, and Darlington as well. Baraboo, Poignette, Montello, and Columbus, temperatures in the 50s for today, and we'll actually see those temperatures decrease throughout the day with that cold front coming through, clouds sticking around. So going to be a cool day overall with some more rain and shower chances, storm chances as well as we head into the next 3 or 4 days or so. It won't be raining all the time, but multiple more rounds of rain are possible Thursday and Friday. The sunshine comes back, but the more fall-like temperatures come back as well, with highs dipping back into the 50s. So there is some nice weather, nice fall weather ahead of us. We just have to wait a couple of days to get there. At least temperatures will be a little bit warmer as we start the work week.
This has been a wacky year, hasn't it?
It really has. Mother Nature definitely confused right now, but we're going to give her time to sort everything out.
Hopefully before winter.
Yeah, I mean...
Unless it's a warm winter, I guess.
Tick-tock, for sure.
All right, Dave, thank you. Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and check out this photo we got from Lisa. That is a beautiful shot right there. We haven't seen the sun very often, so you have to take it all in as soon as you can.
Okay, so that's what that looks like. I'm going to commit it to memory.
All right, what does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page. You can also find us on Twitter or Instagram and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. And that's how we share our favorites right here on the program. Well, it is the weekend in the 608.
And here are some ideas to enjoy a perfect fall weekend in Madison.
25 area artists will take part in the 5th Annual Latino Art Fair at the Overture Center from 5 until 9 tonight. Put on by the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Dane County, the event will feature paintings, photography, pottery, and jewelry from artists in our area. There will also be performances and music from the Afro-Peruvian group Golpe Tierra.
The one, the only Miss Charlotte the Spider herself is in town. Yes, you heard that right. For the next 3 weekends, young actors from around Madison bring to life Charlotte's Web. Of course, the classic story of a heroic spider who saves Wilbur the piglet's life, not autobiographical, mind you. The Children's Theater of Madison production is in Overture's Playhouse today at 2:30 and 7, and tomorrow at 2:30.
Today is your last chance to check out the World Dairy Expo at the Alliant Energy Center. This year's expo includes informational seminars on key issues for dairy farmers, plus how to approach the record low milk prices, tariffs, and uncertainty with foreign markets. There are competitions outside the cattle and trade shows and social and business opportunities too. Tickets for the final day are $12. This year's Supreme Champion cows will be announced at 4 p.m. today.
Why not have a little Sunday brunch downtown before going to see world-renowned best-selling author James Patterson at the Overture's Capitol Theater? The event kicks off the Wisconsin Book Festival. Now, Patterson, of course, the Guinness World Record holder for the author with the most #1 New York Times bestsellers, and he will be interviewed by Steve Paulson of Wisconsin Public Radio about his Max Einstein series. You can see the show tomorrow at 10.
Good books. And as always, pick up a copy of this month's Madison magazine for all of the best in the Madison area. It is 8:51 this morning, and be sure to stay with News 3 and Channel 3000 this weekend. On our news at 6 and 10, we're heading to an event today raising money for local mental health services. But first, we're taking a trip to Key Largo to catch up with military members on a new mission. What they're diving into now, saving the environment and themselves. The news is back in the morning on News 3 This Morning, Saturday. Welcome back at 8:54, and we end this morning with a group of military veterans on a new mission. They've become eco-warriors out to save coral reefs and in some cases themselves.
Manuel Barraquez has their story.
With an oldies soundtrack, a dive boat slices through the sky blue waters off Key Largo. Meet the Force Blue Dive Team, a dozen of America's very best, all former Marines, Navy SEALs, and Special Ops guys, on a mission to save the nation's largest reef tract.
This is ground zero if we want to protect the planet.
47-year-old Rudy Reyes is a co-founder. He fought in 3 wars as part of the super elite U.S. Marine Recon Unit.
It's really warrior stuff. A warrior takes action, and that's what we're doing here with Force Blue.
Irma wrecked the reef. Some parts look like coral boneyard. Among the fixes, the delicate work of transplanting coral seedlings, creating an underwater forest of baby coral. But there's also plenty of heavy lifting, like this centuries-old 800-pound pillar coral ripped off its base by Hurricane Irma. Co-founder Jim Ritterhoff watched the team spring into action.
You're talking about individuals who have lifted Predator drones off the bottom of the ocean, right? Yeah. So in about 2 minutes, they figured out we get 6 airbags on this. We can get it, cement it back on, and almost instantaneously, the color of this reef came back.
But here's the rub. There is perhaps more important restoration work going on here.
Yes.
Beyond the coral.
Oh, I was struggling with alcohol and substance abuse and, in general, massive amounts of depression.
Like for so many vets, adjusting to post-war life is a challenge.
For a lot of these guys, they look great, they can function at a high capacity, anything you ask them to do, but deep down inside, they're hurting. But you put these guys in the right situation, you give them a mission, and there's no stopping them.
Where I started and where I'm at now, it's 180 degrees, and I'm only getting better.
Admittedly, 12 guys are not going to save the reefs on their own. But to them, it's the mission that matters, a fight for something important, something bigger than themselves. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, off Key Largo.
Thank you, Manuel. Now I can't even say it.
You were thinking about it too long.
Oh, shoot.
My last name has been mispronounced so many times, so it wasn't on purpose. I'm so sorry, Manuel.
We always give you the hard words to say.
I mean, well, rain is not a hard word to say, and unfortunately I have to say it numerous times this weekend because we have those rain chances. Not too much showing up right now, but have that umbrella handy because we may still see a few nuisance showers this afternoon and evening. Downtown Madison looking at very cloudy skies on the Edgewater Skycam. Temps in the 50s, that's where they'll remain today. Showers generally ending mostly cloudy. Temperatures staying in the 50s this morning, and highs will stay in the 50s this afternoon.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.